living with my niece. Hey, yay. Okay. Being live streamed.
Okay.
Anyway,
When
greetings.
it starts, yeah, wait a sec. When it starts, if we get a feedback loop, I need to do something on this other thing. So just if you guys can hear a feedback loop, you need to let me know.
Okay.
I think we're good. No feedback? Okay, you're on, Elizabeth.
Oh gosh. Hello everybody. I'm Elizabeth Fenner, formerly the lead of, I guess, the Sustainability Alliance. I am excited that last Saturday I ran an Eco New Year's event here in Wichita and 60 people arrived. I had a really good team who were really connected, and we marketed it so that friendly, brainstorming ideas, good energy, and I was over the moon that 60 people came. It was a good event. It was 3 hours, and we got tons of notes of what, and I'd love to replicate it in Los Angeles. We put posters all over that said, "We know you know stuff. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you want to know more about." And from as far as green burials to changing HOAs. It was fantastic. So anyway, now I'm exhausted and I'm sort of looking forward now to coming back to Los Angeles and doing more stuff in LA too.
Right. And Elizabeth, we will be theoretically back in person in March.
Does that mean
I don't know. We don't know yet what it means. I said,
you know what? I'm actually taking my paid vacation the first week of March.
Okay. Well, so I'm just saying we should probably start this meeting for real.
Okay, go ahead, go for it. That's so my intro. Anybody else have news? Richard, I haven't seen you here before.
It is true. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you after a long time. And good evening to everyone. I do have news. I have a public comment, in fact. But Laura, I'll let you start the meeting before I share that.
Okay. So Elizabeth, I have the agenda. If you can see it, let me know.
Yes, I can.
And I'm going to switch pages. And he's right, general public comments are coming soon, but I think we do introductions first. So I'll just say, since Elizabeth, you already introduced, I'm Laura Myers, and I am the Zoom host of this meeting, and I am on the governing board of UNNC, and I live in the Angeles Vista neighborhood. And Elizabeth is to be calling on people, probably.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I can't see anybody anymore. Oh, there you are. So let's do straight introductions. How about Richard, Ann, and Charlie, and then Laura?
Sure.
Well, Laura did it.
Okay. So good evening again. My name is Richard Parks, and I'm a longtime resident of West Adams, and also serve with Redeemer Community Partnership, which has been very active around the Murphy oil drill site in our neighborhood.
Thanks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anne. I work with Garden School Foundation. I'm the Cafeteria to Compost Program Manager. I live, actually, I guess, out of your jurisdiction, but I live in Culver City, but I work at 24th Street Elementary for the past 3 years now.
And Elizabeth, we now have, besides Charlie, who I've lost, but I know she's here, we also have a call-in user.
I see. Let's see if they'll talk. But Charlie, go ahead.
I'm Charlie. I am a resident of Harvard Heights, and I'm on the governing board as well as an at-large member, and that is all. Thank you.
And then calling user, if he or she would like to introduce themselves. And if not, just moving on for a moment, I would like to direct everyone's attention to the number 1 on the agenda, the determination to continue to hold meetings virtually. And we're still doing that. The Board of Neighborhood Commissioners, BONC, and the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment have established that BONC has the authority to adopt AB 361 findings on behalf of the city's neighborhood councils and to determine that due to the COVID-19 state of emergency, meeting in person would present imminent risk to health or safety of attendees. This meeting is being conducted virtually pursuant to that directive. AB 361 is ceasing, I gather, at the end of February. So at this moment in time, neighborhood council meetings and everybody else's meetings are going back in person. The state legislature is, I don't know if they finalized this bill or not, but essentially adjusting the Brown Act to allow hybrid meetings when feasible. But they're also requiring that in terms of the legislative body, be it a city council, a commission, an HPOZ board, or in our case, a neighborhood council, governing board, or one of the standing committees, it will require a quorum of the board to be in person at a published meeting place. One of the adjustments they are making is that allowing sort of a hybrid, but essentially a telephonic or virtual meeting for some officials, some board members, no longer will have to publish the address where they're calling in from. So originally, the Brown Act would require, if the state legislator had to call in from somewhere else, the address where the call was coming from also had to be published in advance on the agenda. So the question for UNNC committees, which is the only reason I'm bringing this up, is whether that means only that the committee chairs and or co-chairs are meeting in person and everyone else has a choice of either going to that location or calling in on Zoom, since we don't have appointed committees. So I think technically that's what we'll be able to do if only we had a place that had hybrid Zoom functionality. So we're working, we don't know. It's entirely possible that South Seas House will have hybrid Zoom functionality. And if that is the case, we could probably meet from there, meaning the chair and at least one other person, because someone still has to hold the Zoom controls, if you know what I mean. So that's sort of the future look, starting in the very near future. Back to you, Elizabeth. I'm going to let you do the rest of this.
Okay.
That includes the review of the agenda, call for general public comments, and sort of talking about Earth Day.
Okay.
If you can see the agenda.
I can't easily see the, let's see. Okay. Wow, I can see it. So a welcome, we've done the welcome, determination to continue, introductions. Let's review it by, basically we're gonna do planning for Earth Day.
Right.
And update on the composting workshop series.
Right.
Basically, and that's probably all we'll have time to do today. So let's move to general public comment then. And Richard, go for it.
Great, thank you all. Since this was the Environment Committee, it seemed like an appropriate place to come and just give you an update about an event that's happening on Saturday. So many of you know that the Murphy drill site is the last active oil drill site in our community. It's located literally just a block or two from 24th Street Elementary School, less than 1,000 feet. And it has been cited for numerous violations over the last 2 years. And back in April of last year, there was a public hearing to consider new operating conditions for the drill site. And the city, almost 9 months later, has still not issued a determination about whether they're going to extend to our community the same protections they gave to wealthier West LA neighborhoods over 20 years ago. And so we're gathering this weekend across the street from the Murphy drill site on Gramercy Place. We're having a teach-in. There's a couple of people who will be participating. I just want to highlight to you, it's very clear from research that's been done in the neighborhood around the Murphy drill site that the failure to protect our community is now harming our public health. And so Professors Jill Johnston from USC has done a study looking at lung size, lung function, lung health in nearly 1,000 residents living within 1,000 meters of the Murphy drill site. She'll be sharing out some of her results from that. Bhavna Shamasunder from Occidental College has worked with Jill on a study looking at toenail clippings of residents living next to the Murphy drill site and found evidence of toxic trespass in the form of toxic metal signatures that are indicative of exposure to oil drilling in people's toenails. So there'll be other folks sharing as well too, but I really invite you all to come and learn more about how the Murphy drill site is impacting our health and safety and what we can do to kind of win the same protections that the city gave to other communities, again, decades ago. So that's this Saturday from 10 to noon. There's street parking available. It'll be on Gramercy Place. There's a link to RSVP. And if you have any questions, anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Yeah. Richard, is it Gramercy between Adams and 24th?
25th.
25th? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Great. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Did you say
Charlie.
what time? Sorry, did you say what time?
Oh yeah, it's from 10 a.m. To noon. So donuts and coffee starts at 10 a.m. The program starts at 10:30, and we'll have a hot lunch catered from Burritos La Paloma in case there's any other fans here, and which is why the RSVP is so helpful. And just to let you know too that we'll do this rain or shine. The council office is we'll put up about 16 pop-up tents for us. So we won't be standing out in the rain if it rains on us. So yeah, but yeah, welcome you all to join us and welcome you to share the word as well.
So
Thank
let
you.
me give you one hint, Richard, about pop-up tents in the rain. You've got to have a plan because every so often someone's going to have to pop it away from the people so the water pops somewhere.
Right.
I've been there, done that, but you need a plan.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, that's a good word. And yeah, we'll figure it out. But thanks for the heads up.
Thanks. Yeah. And it's the Murphy. I thought that they were going to shut these down. I thought that
So
it was happening.
Yeah, Elizabeth, that's such a great point. So you're right. The city passed an ordinance declaring oil extraction a non-conforming land use, which starts a 20-year phase-out process. And the reason was because the evidence that oil drilling harms public health is so overwhelming. The oil companies yesterday, there was an article in the LA Times that 5 oil companies have filed 2 lawsuits now against the city. They did this yesterday to overturn the ordinance. And what we're saying to the city is, look, you passed this ordinance. It's going to take years to litigate it. It's going to take years for the phase out period to expire. The city's working to shorten that. And in the interim, the kids that are at 24th Street Elementary School today, some of them will probably have their own children by the time this thing goes into effect. And so it's critical that we protect public health now. And the city is, I think, wanting to say its hands are tied because it's phasing out oil drilling. But yeah, we need those protections for folks in our community right now.
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. What are the protections that the West Side got?
Yeah, there's three things that we asked for. So one is the West LA drill sites are enclosed. So if you drive down Pico, you'll see one that looks like a house of worship or an office building, but the Murphy drill site's wide open, and the
Yeah.
enclosure keeps toxic fumes from rolling into the homes next door. The second thing is that the West LA drill sites are there, that rig that you see go up sometimes over the Murphy drill site, that tall structure, it's called a workover rig. West LA, they use electric workover rigs. At the Murphy drill site, they only use diesel. And the third thing is that the West LA drill sites, they're powered by an electric utility connection to minimize the pollution on surrounding residents. At the Murphy drill site last year, the city of Los Angeles allowed the Murphy drill site to install a high pressure methane line so they could burn even more methane in the neighborhood to generate the electricity they need to power the facility.
Wow.
So of course that generates a lot of pollution too.
Wow.
So we asked the city to basically to give our community those same three protections that have been in place for more than 20 years in West LA.
It's so reasonable. It's so reasonable. Put a building over it. Put a dome over it. Put it up. Thanks. Wow. I wish I could be there. I'm not, I know we can move on, but, and I'd like the comments from anybody else if you'd like to make a comment. I'm not an angry sign wielder. That's not my style. My style is more, I don't know, talking to legislators about mitigation and stuff. But that maybe you're not planning on that. What would you ideally like this event to have? What kind of spirit or what kind of outcome?
That's such a great question. Thank you for asking that. So, this is really intended to be a family-friendly event. It's a teach-in. It's an opportunity for us to learn. And so the program includes 2 residents who are going to share their experience of growing up, of living just a block or 2 away from the drill site, and how that's affected their health and their family. It'll include an overview of the violations that the community has uncovered at the drill site and that regulators have cited the drill site for. It will include the 2 presentations from Professor Still Johnston and Bhavna Shamasunder about their research that's very specific about the Murphy drill site. And then Angela Johnson Mazzaros will, who's the managing attorney from the Earth Justice law firm. She's been a wonderful partner with us kind of for almost like 10 years working on this. She's going to share about just what are some of the next steps in the campaign. And we're going to end with just kind of taking a group photo. And the goal is to really, send a message to the city that, justice, Martin Luther King said that justice too long delayed is justice denied. And we feel that 9 months is too long to wait for a decision from the public hearing, and 20 years is too long to wait for protections. And so we just very strongly want to send that message so that the planning director and the city attorney both realize that, we're watching and we're waiting, and, we expect the injustice of what's happened to be corrected on their watch. So that's the spirit. Just again, very family friendly, very neighborly. And in our outreach, there's been a real desire to bring together residents from West LA and South LA so that we send a message that, all of us are concerned about what happens in our community here. By the way, the co-sponsors with us on this is Holman United Methodist Church as well.
Richard, can you do me a favor and type into the chat the correct spellings of the 3 main speakers? And the reason I am asking is we're doing a live transcript, but it mangles those names.
Oh,
so
okay.
if we were going to make minutes out of this, one of them on the transcript says the last name is Bizarro. So I'd like to fix that.
Okay, sure. I'm happy to do that. I'll do that right now. Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, Richard.
So I don't know if anyone else has public comments, Elizabeth. I do not.
Anyone? Okay. All right. Shall we move to the event in April? Or Anne, do you are you time constrained? Would you like to go first?
Yeah, I can share a little bit, I guess, about number 5, just because I think it'll relate to planning for Earth Day. But what Elizabeth had told me is that we are supposed to have one composting workshop in the spring. I know on the agenda it says 2. And previously at the last meeting, we talked about GSF also potentially helping or participating in the Earth Day event. And so what we were thinking is, how would you feel about us moving the workshop to the Earth Day event so that we can participate there?
Oh,
Would
Yeah.
that work out?
yeah. How would you do that? But that'd be great.
Yeah, and so I guess in terms of the workshop itself, maybe we could switch over to more of like a tabling style as opposed to like a presentation workshop. We can be there for I think it's slated for 4 hours, right? And just come with materials. We can bring a warm bin and then just be there to answer any questions participants might have about composting.
Yeah, because kids like worms.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm so fond of them, but the kids certainly like the worms and their parents. That'd be great. And I'm trying to think. So there wouldn't be, obviously you're not going to be showing and telling how to make hotter and hotter compost that way. It would just be I don't know if you guys can, oh no, you can't. But I have the compost 101. Yeah. It doesn't do so good on the Zoom thing, but GSF has made a cute little flyer brochure on composting 101. So would you need, in this case, if we have a couple of hundred people there, you need us to reprint these?
That would be helpful. Yeah, if you could print those for us. We can always come up with other materials too to send along, just like handouts for people to pick up.
Right.
And then, yeah, we can have a couple of different kind of hands-on demos, like the 5-gallon bucket as one, and then the worm bins as another. Yeah.
So how many, we're trying to get this all planned out. I mean, one of the things we're doing with planning is budgeting. So the governing, I know we're going back and forth now, but the governing board did vote an overall budget for all of the elections stuff. And we're doing this event nearby. It's on our election day. So we're going to be, I've measured 227 feet from the polling place. So people can vote or not. But one of the things I need to do is ask the council office for how many tables and chairs we need. So to do something like this, do you need a front table and a back table, for example, for your quote booth? Right.
Sorry, for the composting booth, I think just one table is fine. And then, yeah, like 2 chairs.
Okay, just keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So that will be the only composting workshop for the spring, which is totally fine.
Yeah, that would be great, I think.
Doesn't it seem like we could actually use 3 tables? And then it could be a U so that people could go step in and see things on the tables and sort of, they could go in a U around the tables and see at various stages of compost and then there would be room enough for them to look at the worms. And
I like that idea too. Yeah.
Okay, keep it less simple. Elizabeth and I are on a committee that plans a completely different but annual event that's been dead in COVID but coming back. So she's got very good ideas on how to logistic wise. But that, yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I know, for instance, my mother chops up her vegetables for the worms because she doesn't want to have them work too hard. And I think they like that when there's more surface area.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
So we could show people how easy it is to do that. How I also had a very happy worm bin for a while there in Los Angeles. And a happy worm bin is a thing to see, right?
So Elizabeth, is your idea, because both of the workshops that I went to that talked about the worms, talked
Mhm.
about what they'd like to eat and what they did not like to eat, right?
Correct.
And,
Yeah.
and things they shouldn't eat. So 3 things. So is part of your idea that we sort of have chopped up things they should eat? Just
Sure. Yeah,
more
like eggshells, and then things they don't like so much, which what is like citrus, correct?
Citrus, yeah. And
Yeah.
spicy things, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forgetting something about the onions. Were they good or were they bad?
Right. They don't like onions either because that kind of falls under like acidic things, I guess.
Acidic, spicy. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely have a do not, bin.
Okay.
And then for people to be able to see too that it's not smelly, that it's interesting.
Yeah, it's compact and
It's
Mhm.
still worms, you guys. It is worms.
Are there any, no, there needs to be a business. There needs to be a business because I remember I loved having the worms, but when I got the worm, when I needed to clean it, when I needed to separate worms from compost, I'm sure I was doing something wrong because it got to be a little bit slimy. Was I doing something wrong?
yeah, so I guess best practice is to, I don't know, were you feeding the worms in different sections? Because
Yes.
what would be
Yes.
easiest in terms of separating the worms from the compost is only feeding them on one layer to allow them to all travel up to that layer. And then say the bottom chamber doesn't have any more food, and that'll just allow it to break down on its own. And then that's what you would harvest.
Okay. I still found worms down there.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Mhm. But at
that's
least
okay too.
there's
They can
fewer.
go. Yeah, there's fewer, and it's okay if they go in the soil.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. So
We can talk more about it.
Yeah, we've combined those 2 things. So, and is there anything else, I guess, please stay as long as you can, but from any other reports from Garden School Foundation, even though that's not exactly what the agenda item was. But are you guys continuing with the farmers markets, for example?
We are, yeah. So we host the free farmers market the first and third Thursday of every month. So the next one will be on January 19th, and that's held just right outside of 24th Street Elementary. So anybody who would, like to pick up free produce is more than welcome to join us. And then we also have our monthly community garden days, which is held on the 3rd Saturday of the month. That's also open to the public or anybody who wants to join. And so that'll be, our next one is January 21st, if anyone's interested in coming to help out in the garden.
Okay.
Yeah, those are our 2 more like public facing, I guess, events happening.
Okay.
And one of the things, and I hope everyone keeps this in mind for Garden School Foundation, but any other of the organizations we may contact to bring to this event, don't forget to have, all about Garden School Foundation type materials, right?
Right.
Make this a way to engage with people who haven't heard of you, not just engage them in composting, which we're thrilled with, but use it to your advantage as well.
For sure.
What would you like most of all? Would you like contributions? What could you use most?
I think,
Most-
yeah, that would probably be the most helpful. Is
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
funding of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Elizabeth, so I've been sort of thinking of other organizations to approach, and I hope everybody else starts thinking about that too, because I don't think I can be the only person approaching organizations to be on our grant.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of approaching the LA Compost because they're the
Yeah.
people taking in your
Yeah.
scraps. They're
Uh-huh.
beginning to ask for donations too at the site at Wellington Square Farmers Market, and I am not offended by that. But I will reach out to them for sure. But do we want to do like the organization, Elizabeth, you're still on the board of? I mean,
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Citizens Climate Lobby, absolutely.
and is Dan still on that board?
No,
I mean,
no, I don't think so. We have some new leadership there, Luke Carlson, and a couple of other people. But I think they'll be interested for sure.
so if you, because the thing is, you should be sitting at our committee table. So if you can reach out to that organization to see if they have someone else who can sit at their table. Am I saying that right?
Um,
Or
I
have
get
the
the
table.
I get the request. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm
I
unlikely to be sitting at any one table for long at
understand.
this event, but because I'm just too much of I love going and talking to people.
I understand that too. But what I mean is we will have a table. Meaning
Yes.
our committee has a table, just as the Emergency Preparedness, Resilience, Public Safety Committee will have a table. I don't think any other UNNC committee will have a table. So
Okay.
we need to make sure our tables are peopled, right?
Yes. Sure.
And then any other organization that we're close to and say, come on out. We don't want to say, and I'll sit at your table for you, because we shouldn't do that.
No. Let me run it by them. Yeah, they just asked me to be liaison to the new Congresswoman Sydney Kamlager, which is interesting
Mhm.
for me. It'll be interesting. It'll be a challenge for me because I think she would be one of the new squad member.
She might be.
I think of her as a firebrand and very liberal.
Right, but she also has very much been a participant in this community. It's just going to be hard. It's not going to be hard for you to be a liaison. It'll be hard to get politicos to our event, so that you can ask her as well, as long as you're going to try to be liaisoning with her people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Are you suggesting that we invite or that Wellington Square Farmers Market is coming?
No, I hadn't thought of that. But we could ask them if they want to come.
I'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be Melissa. She's the market manager and she lives in Harvard Heights.
Okay. Forgive me. What day is it? Is it going to be on a Saturday?
It'll be on the Saturday. It'll be on actual Earth Day, which is why I'm thinking we're not going to see a lot of politicos because they'll have bigger events to go to.
Okay.
Why we should start now.
Sure. Inviting people, yeah. Right. And also, so do we have we'll need a Facebook, event page, right?
I'm not sure we can do that outside of UNNC. So let me explore that with the powers that be. There's rules about neighborhood councils and not having more than one Facebook account. So let me see how we do that.
Okay, it won't be an extra account, but it will be an event on the web page, on the Facebook page,
Sure.
But that's what we need that.
We do, and Lindsay can definitely, she's an admin. So, as is Gabby, but Lindsay can do it.
Okay.
Or Gabby can do it. I mean, Gabby who's met with us. but I don't think they use the event page. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, in other words, there's different
It's
pages, different ways of
Right.
doing it. Let me suggest that to them. I was going to also, we've got a lot of negotiating to do with the city clerk about how we fund and what's allowed and what's not allowed. So what I don't know is if we can have someone who's actually selling native plants versus displays of native plants, but we should.
We're giving away native plants.
Well, I think we should check back in with Teresa to see if she's still nurturing all those little seeds along for the monarch butterfly. And I think we should have that. I have a table about the monarch butterfly, again, one way or the other, as a standalone. And then I'm saying table, but it might be, these tables are what, 8 feet? Like the ones the city
6 feet.
rents, 6 feet. So if we have a person from each organization, they don't need a whole table necessarily. We will need to ask them. And so it may be that you have a half the table devoted to monarch butterflies and the other half to native plants. But what I don't know is if we're allowed to ask, say, Marius, if he's still selling, to bring plants to sell versus just an informational table. So I have to find that out. And but I do think we want to have native plants. And then Charlie, plastics. And don't use them. Is there an organization that you know at this point, because you were doing all that research, that might want a table?
Not that I know of anything local. I'll look though. I'll look and see. Like, I feel like, I mean, like, even like, I could ask like Credo, there's like more natural, like I've been shopping at, like, it's called Credo, and there's another one called Detox Market, and they're like cosmetics and personal care stores that are clean and earth friendly, and they have recycling programs in them for like your empties, and they don't have to be bought at those stores. You can do any empties. But anyway, it would be interesting to get, it would be cool too if people could bring stuff to recycle that's not recyclable at home. Like, that would be really neat. So let me look into it.
Okay, if you don't mind. I mean, I'm trying to see if we can each get a focus.
Sure. Yeah, I would be interested in that. And if not, like, yeah, let me, it's the annoying thing about the recycling, and this is just an aside, is that like you have to, the amount of water you need to spend to clean the items in order for them to be able to be recycled. Like, I just don't know, like, as in terms of like weighing, like what's, and the time that you're spending to get them clean enough to be recycled. I just don't know what the cost, like which one is worth more. So I struggle with that. I have this huge bag of like cosmetic things that I want to recycle, but I feel like I need to then spend a lot of time like getting them prepared, and then it feels like wasteful because it's so much water.
Even the food we now buy so much more of to go, prepared food to go, and it comes in plastic. So I like to reuse those plastics instead of keeping on buying, quote, disposable, Tupperware, whatever it is that you get at the grocery store. But they're so greasy. I mean, it just and needs so much water to make these things. But I do it, so it's like, which is worse, the water or the
But I'll look into seeing if there's some things we could do to, for plastic collection. It's hard because I think a lot, like there's ones also that you can send and you pay to send them. So I think a lot of these places, it wouldn't be, not that they don't do it out of the goodness of their heart, but I think it's very expensive for the organizations that do it to actually do it. And so I think that's why those stores, because they're like high-end, like nice, base product kind of stores. And so I think that they sponsor, some of the cost, to add that to their, like, what they do for the earth kind of stuff.
Well, I think what I'm trying to figure out is, can we end up with a table devoted to use less plastic?
I think so.
It as a one brochure at our table. I don't know the answer, but that would be kind of a good thing to have done.
Okay, I'll think on that and I'll just brainstorm on plastics and figure out how to make that a table.
Right.
I have this book called Simply Living Well with all these recipes for make your own cleanser, make your own kitchen cleaner, make your own, laundry soap. And you have to buy these things from online. And she says it's really easy, and I haven't done it yet, where it's just like you buy glycerin and you buy, some essential oil and you buy, it's right here. And I wish, like, I'd love to have a table that would show people like how to make your own, well, toilet pods. Baking soda, citric acid, sal suds, hydrogen peroxide, and essential oils. And boom, you're done,
Okay, I don't even want to know what that is. Can we pick another one that's not toilet? Anyway.
Right. Which don't like, I'd love to do that. Okay. Well, it's like bread, tahini dressing. Oh, okay. Natural cleaning tools. Love it with cleaning tools. Oh, herbal scouring powder. Washing soda, store-bought or homemade. So washing soda, baking soda, citric acid, herbs, and lemon essential oil. And then it's just like your own, you can't see, scouring powder, like your own Clorox, although it's not, or what is it, Comet? It's on your own Comet. And like there are 100 different recipes like that, all-purpose cleanser with citrus peel strips and vinegar. If we could, in a nice glass bottle, right? A nice recyclable glass bottle. If we had a table or two, if we could get some people who are excited about this, even kids, even high school kids, to say, show people, you go here to buy the glycerin. You go, you do this to make the washing soda. It's got to be easy.
Well, Liz, one of the things Lizzie wants. So Lizzie Muramasacto is our elections chair. And one of the reasons the main reason we're doing this event is it's coincidental. It is Earth Day and Election Day at the same time. But she said if we're going to do a family-friendly kind of Earth Day festival, and we need to have a kids craft table. But maybe instead of having a craft table, 1 or 2 or 3 of those recipes that you're looking at, I'm calling recipes, are so kid friendly that we can have someone teach the kids to make. I mean, they can actually make things right there. So
and they could walk home with a little bit of something.
So let's explore that.
Okay.
And then, as well as I just said those words out loud, there's a nonprofit, and I'm forgetting their name, but they're going to probably be the renters in the space at the Gramercy Apartments that was supposed to be a restaurant cafe, but there's been takers for that. So this is a teaching for after school primarily program in arts and crafts, but they're teaching using recycled materials. And it's a nonprofit aimed at kids. And so I'm gonna, whatever the name of it is, and I have forgotten, that might be a good one too, because I think there is an environmental eco component to the fact that they're using materials that are being recycled into artworks. So that would be good, and they'll be a neighbor. So
yeah, if they're a neighbor, just because I wonder how, and this is the back end of it. It's like, how do we make sure that people come? How do we make sure?
And then not a lot of marketing on this, so that's a good thing. I don't think we thought of a Facebook events page, for example, but that's a good idea. But we're going to have flyers, we're going to have banner, e-blast, Facebook, Instagram. So there will be a marketing effort around it. And the more we can think of ideas, the better, because everyone's overwhelmed. But I don't think, is it sort of anti-eco to print a lot of flyers and walk them around? Because that's paper that just got, so I don't know. What do you think? And we don't need to know that right now, other than I think I'm going to ask for some printing budget so we can print up stuff for GSF and print whatever we're going to have on our table. So if it includes some walk around flyers, I guess, I don't know. But I'd rather use
paper. Paper is one of the most recyclable items,
so
but I just don't know how much paper gets recycled. It goes into you know, that's one of the frustrations for all of us, right? Is that we put things in our recycling bin and then just hope.
Yeah, exactly. So, because, you know, I showed you guys whenever we started talking about plastic, I have that video that showed how not possible it is to recycle plastic. I mean, it's shamefully not possible. Then again, I don't really want to use, we seem to have taken something home from a restaurant and it's potato-based throwaway fork, knife, spoon, still wrapped in a plastic wrap, right? And it's like, I don't need that. Give me one really good plastic fork. I will keep it. I'll wash it and use it. And so that, you know, it's that same thing. How much water versus how much this versus how much that. Okay, so I'm also we're working with the council office, seeing how much of the rentals that, you know, they're going to do tables, chairs, tents, one porta potty, yay. And then the big thing up in the air is food for this festival, because it'll be free food. Truffle Brothers will be open, so that won't be free food. That will be, you can buy a better lunch than the hot dogs if you want. And the other restaurants will be open, but I asked particularly for Truffle Brothers because they're usually closed, and it's right there where we'll be, so they'll be open.
We can't do hot dogs.
Well, I think it would be bad if we
No.
did.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that I just learned this from the council office. So I'm hoping the council office will pay for the food is really where I'm going with this. Because when they closed the same street, so it's the festival in the same location last October, for the opening of the little park. So this is not 12th Avenue in Washington, but it's, you know, kind of the same footprint we'll be in, probably the same number of people, 350. They spent $2,750 to hire a caterer. And he did have a lot of, I know that's like too much. So this is still, you know, a work in progress. So when you say we can't have hot dogs, the little kids like hot dogs. So why can't we have hot dogs? Tell me. Besides, it's so unhealthy.
Yeah, they're also, you know, the hog industry, the pig industry is just horrible. They're not eco in any sense of the word. Their meat is bad for the planet.
So why don't they were beef hot dogs? I know, or chicken hot dogs.
We could do veggie dogs. What about veggie dogs?
Well, veggie dogs are extremely expensive.
Oh.
And if we did all veggie dogs, it'd be okay. But again, lessons learned from other events. If you have both, it's really hard to convince the people grilling to keep them on separate grills and be sure to have separate utensils. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we should be pure on this. We have a couple of months. I think we can look into options. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be hot dogs. It could be something interesting.
Look, but let me ask you this, because I just
Tacos.
know something. If Sprouts, which is the only place around here who even sells those hot dogs, vegan hot dogs, if they were sponsoring and they actually gave us only those, would you be okay? Even though it's still unhealthy. I mean, there's
Totally. Thank you, Sprouts.
Still something with grease. I want to say it feels like it does, and it's still.
I mean, I still think that like we could be more creative. I mean, like everybody loves tacos, and tacos are really easy. So they're easy to eat. They're healthier.
Right,
So
maybe we should look into someone who can do a taco something or other. All right. So what I'm really going to look into is seeing if the council office will pick up that expense too, because then we don't have the trouble with the city clerk of the vendor needing this, that, and the other requirement. We still have to provide insurance for the event. If somebody gets food poisoning, that, you know, no matter what, we're going to be doing insurance. But if we can
are they closing off the street?
Yes.
Which part? Closing off 12th?
12th Avenue, between 12th Avenue.
Okay.
So east of the library,
Mm-hmm.
right, not Bronson. We're closing because the 12th Avenue goes one block and then it's done. And we we're really probably gonna be in the footprint of half the block, but technically, nobody should be putting, not even the residents should not be pulling their cars in and out, because it's dangerous, you know,
Mhm.
so we have to work with the neighbors too.
Mhm.
But we have plenty of time. Most of these kind of events are planned in 3 weeks, and we're starting very, very early. Okay, so the other thing is we still want to try and do a tree giveaway. And do you know, besides city plants, do you know if anyone else does tree giveaways? Elizabeth?
No,
So we
Yeah.
need to get in line real quick on city plants. Can Lisa Hart help us with that?
I'm sure. Or
Are
she'll
you-
know somebody to talk to.
Okay.
Yeah, you want me to call her?
Yeah, please, because you have a real good relationship with her.
Yeah, yeah. I've talked to her in a
And
while.
I will tell you, oddly enough, the who is it that you were working with at KYCC? I'm forgetting her name now, but you were working directly when this all started with the
Oh
Washington.
gosh, long time ago. But she's left, right?
She's at
She
City
left KYCC.
She did.
Did she?
She went to City Plants.
So, oh, she did. Oh, it's Marcella?
Yeah.
Marcella, and I can't remember the other person.
Yeah, but they're both gone from KYCC. So,
Okay.
okay, so are these enough places to contact?
This is enough for one week or one. Yeah,
1 week.
not a 1 month, I would say. I think we need to talk again in a couple of weeks just to
Sure.
keep the ball rolling.
And I guess I should just talk to whoever the liaison is at sanitation, you know, LA City San, you know, what do they call it? LA San, and see if they have anyone. You know, they're probably going to be asked to go to 40 different events.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
but maybe if we're first, they can
Okay.
help us out. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I love the little things they give away. They give it to kids. They have little tiny, you know, 2-inch high plastic, unfortunately. Garbage, you know,
Oh yeah, those little bins.
everybody likes them if they're a kid. So,
I like
we should
them.
have plastic.
I've always wanted a dollhouse. I would like a totally eco dollhouse. That would be great. Any other ideas that we're not thinking of, that we're not writing down?
Ask Anne, are there any other kind of kids activities we can think of if people bring their kids?
I think what we like to do is like create herb bundles with kids. So like, yeah, if you have dried herbs and they can use, we'll use like recycled fabric, so old t-shirts or sheets, things like that, just cut them up into little squares. They can fill it with dried lavender or mint, and then just like tie it with some twine. So that's kind of eco-friendly and an easy craft project for them.
So I feel therefore what we need to do also is find out if there's any, I mean, we must have teachers who live in the neighborhood, just in general, who might volunteer at a table for us doing these crafty things with kids. And I think we have to have somebody who is a teacher or a librarian or a recreation and parks worker. I mean, somebody who works for the city or who or volunteers, but they've passed all those tests, background checks, to be able to work with children. You know, so I think that's, either that we have to hire someone. So, but maybe that other organization, maybe they've got the people who can do this. They can help us with this. So, I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you can't volunteer at the South Seas house unless you pass a background check, and it takes a couple months. All right. Well, I'm out of ideas for the moment.
I would like to be able to send people to the library too, because I imagine on Earth Day they'll probably have an Earth Day, you know, a kids book like display. And anyway, I'd like everybody to go to the library because our library needs to be more populated, more visited.
Right. Well, we are going to have wayfinding signs because we're going to say, you know, Earth Day this way, right? Vote
Mhm.
that way. So we should say, we can have a sign that visit the library, you know, this way. And we should just need to talk to Marcy and see what she wants to do in terms of participation.
I wonder if kids could get free books. Like, I don't know how many kids we're talking about, but sometimes they, you know, some little, you know, paper book. Charlie, do you know anything about that?
We've gotten them before from the library, but I don't know what like prompts them to be doing that on that particular day. But that's something we could ask about too. I mean, we could just ask them
Yeah.
like, hey, like if you have a, you know, maybe it could be cool if they have like an Earth themed book. Also, would be extra cool.
Right. With a monarch on it.
Yeah. No, that would be really nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay. Anyway, this is the fun part, right? Thinking about what's possible.
Right. Right. Okay. So to sum up, there's a lot of homework. But you're going to, Elizabeth, you're going to talk to Lisa Hart, and you're going to talk to as well the climate change group. whoever
Yeah.
they-
Mhm.
And Charlie's going to ponder plastic. And Laura is going to talk to a number of governmental people. And Anne's going to go back and make sure her people are good with 3 tables, right? And how do we fill them? And I guess, and I'm going to talk to the clerk about whether Marius or someone like Marius can sell native plants versus just showing native a display. And we'll talk to Teresa about if she's still growing, you know, she's still making her little seed packets for milkweed. She has a display and everything. So the real question is, what's she doing that day? You know, or are they UNNCs anyway? You know, in other words, let's see what Teresa is willing to do or able to do that day. Because she did make a bunch of not monarchs, but milkweed. So,
Will the it was supposed to be like Theodore Payne Foundation has its tour. Is that before April?
I think
Theodore Payne,
I think it's
um,
I would think it's in March.
it's in March. Yeah. Okay. 2023.
But they
Let's
also probably have a whole birthday thing that they're doing. So that's why we need to find out, because
I
maybe
was just going to say, if they could give us something in terms of display, and
Mhm.
then we could I'm sorry, it's April in 2022. It was April 23rd, 24th. So it's not telling which when the next one's, because we could market it.
Mhm.
Annual garden tour. They should know when the next one is. They should know it by now.
Well, they would need to know by now.
Yeah.
Because they would have to have the properties.
Right.
Yeah, it's April 15 and 16.
Of this year.
It's the
Okay. Okay. And West Adams was going to have one too, right?
not a garden tour this year. No.
No. Okay. Is the drought hitting everybody hard?
I think the politics is hitting Lori Hilberg really, really hard, and she's been fighting to get, you know, people into Congress. So she has not organized that, and she's bringing another house.
Okay.
All right.
West, okay. I guess we're over time, but I've got all excited about this now. West Adams. I'm just going to ask about West Adams Gardens tour, but Lori Hilberg would be the one that's doing that, and she's not doing it. The other thing is, do we have to?
Wait, Elizabeth, let's back up. We could ask her, we don't have to have an actual official tour. We can ask her if she has a list of houses if we just want to have a giveaway. You know, on your own time, go tour these front yards.
Sure. Or, and recruiting.
Mhm.
You know, we could have some kind of display about a garden tour with photos of people's gardens and say, could you be on our next one, and collect names?
Right.
You know, so people know that there's a garden tour and know that it could happen, and they could be a part of one. The other thing is community gardens. I know that there's one down at the end of Second and next up to the freeway. It's called
It's
Seeds of Carver.
Yeah, not really active right now. But
No,
I
but
don't know what Seeds of Carver are doing.
say that again.
I'm not sure what else Seeds of Carver is or are doing.
But
They
if
go-
we could find, that was just an example, if we could find people who run a community garden that could come to our event and showcase what they do, if they're looking for people to join them.
Well, the nearest real community garden, as opposed to the Seeds of Carver, is on Crenshaw,
Yeah.
between Venice and
Yeah.
However, they're in a big fight because of a major construction development right to the south of them that wouldn't
It's gonna
even.
escape them.
Yes, it's going to shade the garden, and I don't know what's happened. I do know how to reach them. So
Oh
if they-
dear. Okay.
yeah, it's kind of a big old deer if they've lost that battle. But if they're in the middle of it, they might want to come to extol the benefits of the garden and get some advocacy. The other garden I'm aware of is the one on Raymond, just south of Adams.
What's that?
There's a garden on the east side of Raymond Avenue, just
Okay.
south of Adams Boulevard,
Okay.
that I think is now part of the land, the Los Angeles Neighborhood Land Trust.
Okay.
So it's a little east of us, but they might want to be invited to an event like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think that getting known for what they do in the neighborhood would be lovely.
Mhm.
They would welcome that. So I'm sorry, guys. It's
Yeah.
11 here, so I'll let you go.
Right. And we're going to welcome you back in March.
Yeah.
Elizabeth kind of started telling her son, yeah, I have to be back because she gave him a date. No, I can be back no later than, I forget the date you told him.
April 22nd.
But
Yeah.
he almost burst into tears because he wants her back sooner than that.
Yeah.
You'll
It's
have to be sooner than that. Anyway, okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for
Bye.
giving your time and effort.
Good night. Good luck
Thank
with
you.
the move.
Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Yeah, I will.
And I'm looking for this chat.
All right. Oh, and are we off of YouTube now?
No, I don't know how. Hang on, I don't know